Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Ledger. We are the nerds. I am Cage, and this is Chair.
Chair.
Yeah, and we are not live, but we are recording. And if you're watching the video of the recording, you'll see the us, well me, and then Chair's little photo, and then above us it says the Nerd Ledger. And because we are the Nerd Ledger, and it's not a rebrand, it's a brand refresh. We got some new imagery for our little escapade here. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, dude. Keeping it fresh after 5 years.
So, has it
Nerd
been
Ledger
5 years?
still
I think it's been like
feels like
3 years.
I feel like it's been a long ass time. Let's go to the start of this. Start. If I keep scrolling up, I wonder if we eventually get to the start of things.
It's gotta be like 3 years, right? I don't know. It was.
When we did across the stars
Oh,
before that.
yeah,
That's when
yeah,
and that's basically what the Nerd Ledger became.
yeah. So probably
Let's keep
4 or 5
scrolling up.
years. It's gotta be
Keep
probably
scrolling up.
4 years. 2021, I'd say. You know.
Yeah, nope. December 18th, 2020. Nerdy Boy and Human started a call that
Oof.
lasted 33 minutes.
Wow. How
So
could I?
it's been 5 years.
And that was the start. Well, not the start. I don't know.
The next call is after that. It says lasted a call that lasted 2 hours. Yeah, we definitely started podcasting then. Yeah, it's been
Well,
5 years, brother. How does it make you feel?
um, hmm. I mean, pretty normal, I guess.
We should do an anniversary in 9/18. That's when we need to do our little anniversary, 5 year
Nine
anniversary.
September 18th.
Yep.
That's crazy. The
Yep.
first ever Nerdy Boys reviews that I did was September 14th. That was
Wow.
2015. 2014.
Damn.
2014.
Veteran podcaster here, folks. Look out.
Yeah.
At least you got shirts sold when you're. Did you sell any shirts when you? I know you guys made shirts. Did any actually sell when you did Nerdy Boys? And I know you guys made some.
Yeah. It's so at the time we were trying, well, I was trying to like um really generate things through the website. So like I had made a website and like it's like, it should be like a one stop for everything. And so like
Yep.
it wasn't just like the podcast episodes. It was like, here's some stuff, here's some vlogs or blogs or reviews that are written instead of like talked about during the podcast. So that way, like if there were things I was into that Captain Hot Sauce, good old pal, wasn't into, I could write about them and vice versa. And then like we would rate every episode that we watched and talked about on the podcast. So then I would record those all through the website. So like you could see every episode of The Flash that we ever watched, what we rated it,
Yeah.
and like every other show too. And so like that's like what I was trying to do. So when we first put out merchandise, I used the money to pay essentially for like 2 years of the web service.
Mm.
So we made like, I don't know, like $150 off of selling merchandise, which when you think about it isn't bad because there's a cost to making them. So you only
Yeah.
make the difference, right? And we were only making like $5 or $6 per shirt or sweater we sold or whatever. So and like thinking back on it, like I wouldn't do that again because the quality wasn't great. Like it's just like generic, like the service makes the product and you only like they just make them one off, so like obviously it's like not cheap. So they make it and then they sell it and then they keep all the money minus whatever we're selling, like the difference, right? So we make marginal money off of that, but obviously because it's like that, we didn't get to test the product or anything. It's just it went out and I don't think it was necessarily like that great of a product. Like it would start like cracking like the image and peeling, and I wouldn't want it. Like I don't feel good making people pay money for shit like that. So
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
yeah, we're gonna talk about
Any,
Superman. Right? Were you saying something else before we talk about Superman?
No, that's it. We're just talking about Superman.
Yeah, we saw Superman last week on Tuesday, and then I saw it again on Thursday with aforementioned Captain Hot Sauce because he loves Superman. Um, and first thing I'll say is we saw it for like the Amazon Prime like preview, so it was like 2 days before it came out. And at the theater that we went to, it's only in IMAX. And let me tell you, IMAX is a fucking scam. Okay,
Yeah, I
listen.
really don't like IMAX, especially someone who wears glasses. Like, it means I got to double up on the glasses for the IMAX, and it's just
I
it's
mean, it
always no good.
wasn't
You know?
like 3D or anything, but like it's okay. The screen is a little bit bigger, but
Hmm.
and maybe the sound is a little better. I don't
I think it's
fucking
supposed to be
know.
this. I think it's supposed to be the sound, like the surround sound in the IMAX theaters, are supposed to be like, that's like why that is the way that it is. It's like sound, like, and I agree. Like in IMAX, like if you get the wrong seats, you're watching a horrible movie. Like no matter what movie you're watching, because
Yeah,
like it'll literally distort the like how the movie looks if you're sitting in the wrong, if you're not sitting in a good enough seat, and they only have the shit seats there so they can fill out.
which is yeah,
It's
like the, that's like the so I never watched an IMAX movie at this theater before, but it's a newer theater, and all the seats when they first built the theater were the reclining seats. So I actually did see a movie in IMAX there once, but I don't remember it not having reclining seats. They're just old fucking regular seats in the IMAX. Like maybe they're like the IMAX seats because they're not like the standard like plasticky everything scrunched up seats, but like they're not the reclining seats. So you feel just scammed. You're just like, oh fuck, I'm just sitting in a normal fucking chair, and I'm paying more money for it, right? Like I don't know. To me, IMAX is just really not worth it. And if I didn't have to do IMAX for that pre-sale, I probably wouldn't have. But it was an experience, nevertheless. So anyway, uh, Superman. Do you wanna give some initial thoughts? Do you wanna talk about the majority of opinions that are out there? Any
Sure. I think I join with the majority where I think this is a really positive, good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It was very reminiscent of like the Justice League shows that I watched as a kid. Um, it was very colorful. I liked that a lot. I didn't really think about it until like later, but I really did enjoy how colorful the movie was. Thought the other superheroes we had, this guy Benson or whatever his name
Guy
is, the Green
Gardner?
Lantern, Guy Gardner, yeah.
Yeah.
I really love his haircut. I think it's very iconic. Nathan Fillion's a great villain for that. I thought Mr. Terrific was awesome. Hawk Girl is badass as always. Um, I really like Hawk Girl a lot because she had that one like whole. I just I don't know. I remember just like watching that whole sequence with her and Solomon and Grundy. Back in the DC, back when in the Justice League days. Maybe I should go back and watch Justice League again. Maybe I'll do that.
What about
Um,
what about her and John Stewart?
yeah, that too. And just everything. Just Hawk Girl's badass. She really is. And I just thought the movie was really great and fun and a good time. I kind of want to see it again, but I don't really have the money to do that right now, so I'm not gonna be responsible. But you know, it's good enough to see again. I would definitely recommend seeing. Have you seen it a second time yet, or are you not?
Yeah, I saw with Captain Hot Sauce on Thursday.
Sweet. What did he think? I know he's a huge Superman guy.
He fucking loved it. Look at this
Yeah,
bowl cut. Look at that.
yeah. He's got the bowl cut. You got the comic book. You got the pages, man. Yeah, I've
Hey,
seen
you
pictures
got
of him
you
on
gotta have the
Instagram and stuff like
classic
that.
Jeff Johns runs on Green Lantern.
Yeah, yeah. I was on Instagram they have like those breakdowns of like, oh, who is this guy, and stuff like that. I've seen a
Hmm.
couple stills of like his bowl cut. That bowl cut goes hard sometimes. It really does. It makes him look.
Yeah, and the vest. Yeah,
And the vest, yeah, just everything about it is very iconic Green Lantern. So it's shaping up to be like it feels like the start of something good. How about we put it like that? It feels
absolutely.
like it feels like a good start off to whatever it is that whatever's face James Gunn is building here.
Yeah,
And I think that
it's a very hopeful movie.
yeah.
Um, of course you're gonna have detractors. You're gonna have people who really dislike elements of the movie. You're gonna have people who
Yeah.
dislike it just because it's something new and they were very into the Snyderverse kind of stuff. Which to each their own. You can enjoy those movies if you like. But David Cornsweet, who plays Superman, is fantastic. He's like a very good embodiment of Superman.
Yep.
There's not a lot of Clark Kent in the movie, which is fine. I one of the maybe I mean, people could say it's like a negative about the movie is that there's a whole bunch of stuff in it, right? Like it's packed with things. So like
Yeah,
not
it feels like getting dropped into the DC universe, and there's just stuff going on. Like that one scene where him and Lois are like having a heart to heart in the darkness, and there's like some big epic battle going on in the background. I
yeah,
love shit like that. Like, yeah, no, it's just a minor sprite from the Aether Realm. Don't worry about it. They got it handled. And they're in the
yeah,
background like fighting and stuff like that. And that's very DC. There's always something going on. Like every city has like their hero and its villains, and and then there's like they have their runs in the comic books, or like in the show,
yeah,
in the show in Justice League, it's like when you go back to the Flash's hometown, it's like it's all about him and everything like that, and the other superheroes are helping him out with a villain from his, and then you go to Gotham and it's all about Batman, and then and then
yep.
you go to I fucking forget the name of Superman City, Metro City or something like that. What is it? What's it
Metropolis,
called? It's called
Metropolis.
Metropolis. Yeah, that's right. And you go to Metropolis, and it's all about Superman and Lois Lane and all that stuff. And like Lois Lane's was only in the Justice League episodes whenever they were doing Metropolis episodes. She wasn't in it for the rest of the time.
Yep.
And it's just there's always going on in the DC universe. Like that's kind of the idea, right? And that's why that's what makes it a lot of fun. So yeah, it was just
Yeah.
I think too that one sequence again of them like having a heart to heart while that battle's going on in the background really just kind of nailed that sort of feeling of that there's always something going on in the DC universe. There really is.
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, so like I've seen it be a criticism that everything kind of feels rushed in the movie. I wouldn't say necessarily it feels rushed. I'd say some things feel like they don't have a lot of room to breathe sometimes, but the movie does such a good job of conveying a lot with very little, right? Like everything you need to know about Clark Kent and Superman with very few
Mm,
lines from him, right? Like
yeah,
when he is trying to justify like interfering with Jarhanpur and everything else, like very simply, one line: people were going to die. That tells you everything you need to know about the character, right?
yeah,
Like that's it. That's his only concern, right? And that carries through, right? Because another criticism I've seen of the film is obviously the change to his parents, which is kind of a change and kind of not a change. Where right, his parents send him to Earth with this message, and he's only heard the first part of the message, so he thinks his entire life purpose is to serve humanity. And then you come to find out that there's another part of the message that was damaged, but when it gets recovered, his parents are pretty much saying, you are going to be the ruler of Earth. And that
mm,
causes a little bit of an identity crisis within Clark Kent. And people are real mad about that because his dad was just a scientist who, like, they were looking for to save their son because the planet was dying and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's true in some versions of Superman, but it's also true in some versions of Superman that they weren't great people looking for to save their child. So to me, it's like no one really expects that, so it's a good twist. It's an adaptation, which means that there should be changes to make surprises and so audiences don't know what to expect. But also, it serves a purpose in the story. It's not just thrown in there to be like, ha, gotcha. Like, it serves a very important role in the film, not only to show the fragility of people who idolize others, right? Like this whole idea of look at this person who does great things, they're my hero. Oh, I found out that they're from another planet and their parents were terrible and they sent him here to rule us, even though they've never shown any signs of that. And now I'm going to turn against them and say he deserves to rot in hell, right? This is how people are on social media. It's ridiculous. That's
yeah,
also mirrored at the end when Lex Luthor is exposed for all the money he poured into Bravia, trying to take over Jarhanpur. Um, and so like it plays such an important role, and also Superman Clark Kent realizing that his identity isn't linked to what his parents intended for him, and none of our identities are linked to what our parents intended for us. Our identities are linked to our actions, who we are as people, how we treat others, and like I don't know. I don't know why people are mad about that. People are just mad that that's one of the elements of the movie for some reason. So I don't know. I think it served a purpose, and that purpose was a good one. So it doesn't bother me. I don't know. Does it bother you?
No. Yeah, he was just good at heart, and his thing with his parents was a little corny and stuff like that. Definitely felt like there were weak parts of the movie for sure. It wasn't like this amazing movie that didn't have any flaws, like the Lois Lane relationship thing doesn't really a real thing. It strikes a relationship as being real tense at the beginning that almost goes away immediately, after Superman does all the Superman things.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the parts where it's like you feel like that relationship didn't have time to breathe and blossom, right? Like
yeah, it's just
kind
we're
of thrown
fighting and
in.
now we're back in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fighting and now we're back in love again. That was a thing. Like there was enough time for them to have like a recovery period. I thought like his parent, like his whole sequence with his parents. I was like what 5 to 10 minutes of the whole movie,
Yeah, it's like
barely any sequence at all.
yeah, but it's
6
also
minutes.
very important, right? Like his
Yeah,
Earth parents, right?
yeah,
Like the conversation he had with his dad. You learn everything you need to know about his mom when she's like trying to use the phone, right? At the very beginning, but
yeah,
like yeah, I mean, and then it still all ties together, right? So like at the beginning of the movie where he's like injured, and he's being like brought back to like regaining his strength through the sun. The robots mention like that the message from his Kryptonian parents like it soothes him, right?
mm,
And then at the end, the robots say, "Oh, do you want us to put on the footage of your parents to soothe you?" And he says, "Yeah," and it's his Earth parents, right? So
mm,
it's another like circular thing where it's like, this is his true family. This is the only family he's ever known. And he had those ties to Krypton from his parents' message, but just because it turns out something wasn't what it was initially, what you expected it to be, you don't have to dwell on that and live your life disconnected or connected to it in any way. Like there are things in your life that are important, that are way more
yep,
important, right? So, he finds comfort in that. But yeah,
yep,
there's not a whole lot there to breathe either. So they have, again, like the movie has to convey a whole lot in a little bit of space because the movie just has so much going on, right?
yeah, absolutely.
And same with the Justice Gang, right? To me, no problem. I don't need to know the entire origin and backstory of all of these characters.
Same.
I don't necessarily need to know their significance, but they're in the movie to serve a purpose, and they serve that purpose. And maybe they'll explore some of their backstories and other things, right? Like if Hawkgirl gets a movie, they'll go into her history, but they don't need to do that here. It's not her story. It's not Guy Gardner's story. It's not Mr. Terrific's stories. They play a role in Superman's story. So that's what's the most important. Um, People also I saw complain that Superman just gets his ass kicked the entire fucking movie. But he should,
Well,
right?
same thing happens in the Justice League. Same thing happens in Justice League all the time. He gets knocked down, he gets back up. It's kind of like it's kind of like Captain America sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, also like you've
And he
come to
can take
find
it. He's the
out,
Invincible Man.
later in the movie that he's pretty much fighting himself the whole time, right? Like it's Ultraman is a
Yeah,
clone of him, who was also the Hammer of Bravia, and it shows you that how much restraint Superman actually uses because he's not using his full strength against all his enemies because he's so powerful. Like he's always
yeah,
restraining his abilities. And when you restrain yourself against yourself, of course you're going to lose, right? Like because
yeah. Absolutely.
Ultraman's not pulling his punches. So,
Yeah, that's a good part to think about. Something good to think about.
yeah.
Interesting thonk there.
I think they also captured, right, like how a lot of times like social media isn't real life. I mean, I didn't really care about the monkey bot farm thing. Whatever, people either find that hilarious or stupid. I thought it was whatever, but like everybody like immediately turned against Superman, but then we still have like the kids in Jarhanpur who are praying for his help, right? Like they're not on social media. They don't have the luxury to say, "Oh, I'm going to turn against this random guy who all he's ever done is try to help us," right? Like they're still looking for him to help them because he's Superman. Were you gonna say something?
Yep.
Oh,
No.
okay.
So taking a sip of my coffee. Sorry.
Yeah. The other thing they did a very good job at in my opinion, is capturing Lex Luthor and what drives him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe one of the mistakes of the movie is everything happens, like the reveals kind of happen so late that people get stuck on what happens earlier in the movie. So like there are gonna be people who watch this movie and think that everything he's doing to Superman is so that he could have his half of Jarhanpur, right? But
Mm-hmm.
everything he does, and it is in the movie, like it straight up says everything he's done is to try to take down Superman. Like he tried to help Baravia invade Jarhanpur as a way to get at Superman, right? Like that's his whole purpose because he is jealous of Superman. He is envious of Superman, and that's what's always driven him. He wants to know why this random alien who all he does is get praise because he exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he does Lex Luthor can't understand that because Lex Luthor feels like I am a genius. I have done incredible things, but all anyone ever talks about is fucking Superman, right? And he wants credit. He wants love. He wants to be recognized and noticed and talked about as an unequaled individual. But instead, it's always about Superman. And that is what drives everything he does. Right? And I think they did a good job capturing it. I don't know if they did the best job in the end conveying it, because it's kind of tied in with so many other things that most people are gonna think that his drive was to like make money, right? Because even before, right before he reveals it, when they're evacuating the Daily Planet, and Lois is talking with Perry and everybody, like she says, well, he's gonna make all this money on this investment in Jarhanpur or in whatever, right? Like because of the oil deposits in Jarhanpur. So it makes you think again, oh, he's doing it to make money. He's not doing it to make money. Everything he does is to try to destroy Superman, to try to destroy his reputation, his image, and eventually just to get him killed, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that is his goal. That is the only thing he cares about. So everything else is extraneous to that. But yeah, I thought they captured it well. What did you think? Did you like Lex Luthor in this movie?
Yeah, he was a hater, man. That's the funny meme on Instagram is that he's just a hater.
Yeah,
He's like the hater of haters, dude. Like
he's a tier one hater. Yeah,
yeah, he just hates Superman. He hates everything that he represents, and he hates what he stands for. And he wishes Superman wasn't around. And he's like his entire life purpose is dedicated to either actively hating on Superman, plotting against Superman, or like trying to action on those plots against Superman.
yeah,
That was Lex in Justice League. That's Lex here. That was Lex in the other one too. He wasn't in it as much in Man of Steel or anything like that, but he was in it briefly. You know,
yeah.
um, and it's just who he is, and the guy who plays Lex, I don't know his name, but I remember he
Nicholas
was in
Holt.
Merlin. He was Nicholas Holt. He was in Merlin. I really like him a lot. He was Nux in Mad Max, and he was really good.
And
Like,
he
he's just a
was
great actor.
Beast in the newer X-Men movies,
Sweet. Yeah, so
which were not
he's
good.
really good. Oh well, can't win them all. This movie was
He
good
he
though.
was good. He was good. He's good.
He
Yeah,
was really he's good. He's great in this role.
yeah.
He's very classy, very over the top. I like it a lot. I like
Yeah.
the
The
everything.
Russian roulette
You
thing was
know,
fucking that was intense
fuck,
too.
it was intense. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say at the beginning,
He's
but
a
spoiler
villain, and
warning.
spoiler warning. Yeah, he's a villain, and villains kill people. That's like what they do.
Yeah.
And and they think they can rule over people by fear, but it turns out that like being evil inspires other people. Like in that instance, like that guy domed that guy, and it inspired the elemental dude to help out Superman because he was like,
Yeah,
I can't be
Metamorpho.
like metamorpho. I can't be like just a tool in this guy's evil plot. Like I just can't because like I just watched him just kill a stranger for no reason, like because he hates Superman so much.
Yep.
Even though my son's at risk, like I'm gonna put my faith in Superman, and he makes like a son, and it was really cool.
Yeah. You
That was
know who
really cool.
was
That was really
a
cool seeing
scene
this.
stealer too was Mr. Terrific.
Yes, he was. He was really good.
I'm
Yeah,
goddamn
those
Mr.
little
Terrific.
yeah, yeah, those little metal balls. He had his own action sequence where he 1v1 this entire camp basically, and
T-spheres.
it was just
T-spheres.
T T spheres. Yeah, that's what they
Can't you
are,
use
and they are
your little circles? Circles. Those are
they're
T-spheres.
spheres.
A
Yeah.
circle is flat.
Yeah, he's sitting in his chair doing awesome things, and the chair. I thought the chair was really cool. Just compiling the data and everything, and yeah, like I think everything about the show was just a net positive. About the movie was just a net positive. Unlike Ironheart, which I've watched the first 2 episodes, and like
Oh, you
she got
did.
she got kicked out of college because she was like plagiarizing, and now she needs like funds, so she's like going with these illegal, like the people doing this illegal shit, and I'm lost, man. Like I'm already lost. Like
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
why I care.
You
I
can't
don't
be
know why.
lost. You can't be lost. Come on.
I don't know why.
She
I don't know why I care.
well,
She got
that's one of the things is you
yeah.
shouldn't care. Like unfortunately, her character is not how do I put this nicely? Um,
Relevant.
they read the comic book and they said, "Wow, this character is not very likable. Let's make a show and make her as accurate as possible to the comic book." Um,
Hmm.
yeah, her whole deal, the way I interpret it, I could be wrong. The way I interpret her whole deal is she believes if she grew up rich, she would be world renowned. Like
Hmm.
she thinks the right, which you would if you grew up poor but a genius and you could make a suit of armor the way Iron Man did.
Hmm.
And you still didn't get recognition for it when you're 16 years old. You would think, what does he have that I don't? I don't know him personally. He has money, right? We as the audience know Tony Stark is brilliant. We as the audience know that Tony Stark earned everything he got, but she doesn't. She just sees
Yeah.
his dad was a super genius rich guy. He grew up as a rich guy. That's why he is loved, not because he's smart, right? Um, and she feels like that. I mean, eventually the point is she builds the suit of armor to try to make sure she can protect her family and friends. But part of that is also, that she wants recognition. She wants to become rich because she's smart, not she's rich and that's why she's, loved, right? So, I don't
Hmm.
know. It's her character is is not likable in general, right? To me, Riri Williams has never been a hero, and she doesn't become more of a hero as the show goes on either.
Hmm.
The last 3 episodes are pretty good. Um, the
I'll push through, I guess, but
I
I
don't know what
still
episode
still
you're on, but
two. I'm on
okay.
episode. I finished episode 2, and I was just like, dude, like
After
I
episode
just thought,
3, you're gonna like her less. I promise you.
okay,
I promise you'll like
all
her
right.
less.
Well, it's good. It's good to hate a character, but I
But you'll
want
be
to.
interested at least, probably.
Okay,
So, um,
because she's like, I don't know, like she already got kicked out of college, and because she was doing something wrong, and I guess like I didn't really see that they were trying to set up. Okay, this isn't a character you're supposed to like. I didn't really see them going for that. I thought they were going maybe for something like, oh, she's down in the
I don't
dumps now.
think
She's
they
got to pick
are. I
herself.
think they want you to like
Yeah.
the character. She's just not a very
Mm,
likable character in general.
mm,
I liked the show. I just don't think it's like I don't think she's a character you root for. I think she's a character you observe and study. Like it's a tough one for me because I didn't really read a lot of her comic books because she never really interested me, which isn't like a thing. Like it's just whatever. And it was her stories started like right after I stopped reading comic books religiously, and so
mm-hmm.
I just never really got into the character. When I was watching the show, I was like, I don't really like the character that much, and I don't think I'm supposed to, but whatever. And yeah, she's just rolling around with criminals essentially, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to make quick money for numerous reasons. But there's trauma behind it, right? Like there's other things
Yeah,
in there.
I like how she accidentally made an AI that was like her like dead best friend by accident, and she's like not like she's like actively trying to undo it. I thought that was a pretty interesting thing.
Yeah. Joe is an interesting character played by young Han Solo, Alden Ehrenreich. Um, so there's that. I don't know if you recognized him. I didn't recognize him at first, but
No, I didn't recognize him.
yeah, he played Han Solo in the Solo movie.
An
So
actually decent movie.
yep,
That may give me super roast on the internet, but I don't care. I thought Solo. I watched Solo again recently. I was like, you know what? This is actually a pretty fun movie.
yeah, yeah. But yeah. I mean, I wouldn't expect anyone to put Ironheart anywhere near the level of Superman anyway. So, yeah. Well, when you finish Ironheart, we'll talk about it because I haven't talked about it yet, other than all this stuff I just said now. But, yeah, it's a tough one to analyze really because don't know really where to start because you like her character from Black Panther, right? Like, it's she's more likable from Wakanda Forever than in her own show. And so I think they're like trying to come to terms with what was in that movie versus what they want to do, and it's a tough bridge to cross, I think. But Superman was great. I really liked Superman. It's a good start to the DC universe under James Gunn. And we got to talk about the Supergirl cameo a little bit because Supergirl's a little out of control, right? Oh, and Crypto
Yep.
is I like Crypto. Crypto reminds me of so much of
Crypto.
my dog.
Yeah, Crypto is great in this. Something we didn't another character we didn't really talk about yet, but Crypto was his own character. He was a driving plot device behind half the movie actually,
Yeah,
because in the movie Lex Luthor accesses the fortress of, it's called the Fortress of Solitude, right? That's
it
what it's
is.
called.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, he accesses the Fortress of Solitude because he has like the didn't that Superman have like another name? I could have sworn that was a plot from the Justice League and they gave him like
Oh,
Amazo
you're
or
talking
something
about
like that.
Bizarro. It's not Bizarro.
Bizarro. That
No.
okay. Okay, Bizarro, but he's like a clone of Superman, right? Bizarro is or something like that. Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know. He has like the super, like the S is upside down and stuff like that. I remember that whole like 5 episode. That was like a whole 5 episode sequence from Justice League, and it was really burdened on the mind.
He's
So I
also
remember
that comic book I showed Guy Gardner. He's in that too. He's in that story too.
that.
So you know,
Cool.
it's all tying together. But yeah, no. Yeah, no. This is just Ultraman. He's a
Yeah.
different clone.
Yeah, but
And
so they access the Fortress of Solitude and they break up the robots and they get that message and like and then they kidnap the Crypto and they even talk about killing Crypto at some point, which is like wow, like that's intense. Like I like that Lex Luthor a lot.
yeah,
And
yeah. But Supergirl, she little bit of Superman lore at the end. You can't get drunk on a Kryptonians can't get drunk on a planet with a yellow sun because they recover too quickly. So she goes to planets with red suns, like
the party.
Apocalypse.
Oh,
Yeah, to party.
getting drunk on Apocalypse, huh? That must be an interesting time.
And she's most likely drinking. So Women of Tomorrow. A lot of people maybe don't know. If you do, sorry to say something you
Spoil
already
it.
know, but Supergirl did live on Krypton for a while before it was destroyed.
Mm.
She knew her parents. She knew Krypton. Krypton was destroyed. She has trauma from that. Like she wasn't like Clark. She wasn't sent to Earth as a baby with no memory of Krypton or her birth parents. She knew Krypton and she knew her birth parents. So she has some trauma from that, and so she gets drunk and parties in the Women of Tomorrow kind of storylines to kind of deal with some of that. So she's gonna be angry. She's gonna be a completely different kind of character to Superman, which she should be, right? So yeah, I'm excited for Supergirl. It comes out next year. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I saw that announcement. I am excited too. Like I said, this feels like the start of something good. So
Yeah.
let's just hope for the best.
I mean, I think James Gunn has a pretty good track record in general when it comes to superhero movies and TV shows and everything else. You watched Creature Commandos too, right? We
I
talked
did.
about it, I think, and that was all James Gunn's as well. He wrote all of that, so yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I think Superman was a solid 7 out of 10. I wouldn't be opposed to saying it was an 8 out of 10, but it was a very solid first entry for the DC universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited for more. Again, I enjoyed the movie. How it was very wholesome in a lot of ways. I
Yeah.
think that's really important to go over too, and I think that I really enjoyed that wholesomeness of it. I think that's something we all like kind of look for when we're watching a superhero movie is something like to make us feel good about ourselves. And this isn't like a dig at the Snyderverse or anything like that, but it's just how I feel, right? Like
Yep.
I just genuinely think like you're supposed to watch movies to like feel good about yourself. Like it's like what Tolkien wrote in that one book and that one essay on fantasy, right? Like the whole point is at the end of the day, like the good guys need to win, evil needs to be defeated, and like they need to ride off into the sunset because it's like a story and you're just trying to make the person who's like engaging with the story feel good. You're not
Yeah.
trying to make them feel like
The
like shit or like question their existence or something.
the happy ending is foundational to
Yeah.
fantasy storytelling. And maybe more than just fantasy storytelling, but if you don't have a happy ending, right? And the whole point isn't that everything goes back to the way it was before. Things are forever changed, you know, and some not for the better, but the ending for your main characters should be a happy ending, right?
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do, especially for Tolkien with a character like Frodo to have a happy ending for that character after everything they went through, right?
Mm.
But that's a part of it. That's an important part of it is that you shouldn't leave something feeling unsatisfied. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like the twist on modern storytelling is let's take all the rules and flip them on their head and have people just wanting more. But in Tolkien's mind, that's never the end of the story. That's not complete storytelling. You're ending in the middle when you end that way, right? When you leave people wanting more, that the story's not over then. So
Yep.
anyway, I don't know if you have anything else to say, but
No, I'm just really enjoyed the movie. It was like a good movie to watch. It was a good movie to go see. I'm excited for Fantastic Four too. But the movie didn't. I don't know, like how to put this. Like it wasn't very complicated.
no, and it
Like
didn't need to be.
yeah, exactly. And that's another good thing about it. It felt like the other Snyderverse things were like they were so complicated. Like everything was like there was time travel and going back and forth and Superman, evil Superman of the future with Jared Leto as like an apocalypse survivor Joker there, and
Mm,
it was just all random and all over the place. So I just
yeah,
think that this one being on its own is really good, and
Jimmy Olsen was
the
cool.
color,
I like Jimmy Olsen.
yeah, yeah, he was pretty funny. The color, man,
Lois
though,
was good. Yep, the colors.
yeah, the color of the movie was just fantastic. It really was.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be more to come with the Justice Gang, right? So,
Yeah,
and we'll see them again in Peacemaker season 2 coming out in August, which you're probably not going to watch because you didn't like Peacemaker.
I'll probably watch it so
Eh,
we can talk about it.
yeah,
I'm still working on finishing Peacemaker. Maybe I'll start it over. Like I remember I picked it up Peacemaker, like I got back into it and then I dropped it again because I just didn't feel motivated to watch it.
yeah. You might not
That's the
need to.
problem with me though. Finding
I think they're gonna retcon some of it.
no, well,
So, but Peacemaker was also in Superman.
yeah, he was very
Yes.
briefly. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Well, love the movie. Looking forward to Fantastic Four. Comes out in a week from today. We're gonna go see it in a week. So,
Yep.
yeah, cool. Well, thanks everybody. Like, comment, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things, click all the buttons, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Goodbye.